I've been waiting quite a long time to finally be able to do a full video review. Actually just been waiting a long time in general to get my hands on this beautiful mic right here, which is blending into my shirt, which I probably should have worn a different shirt. But this is the King B2 from Neat Microphones, and we're going to be doing a review of this magnificent microphone.
This wasn't written with your comfort in mind. Nah. Made my decision, wasn't tough to decide. Nah. Me and my boys, we get it done every time. Gotta earn it, you can't just jump in the line. You'll get rushed to the side. I top my division. I've been building since I started. In the parking lot, I parked it. I came in while picking targets. My career cannot be tarnished. I'm a champion regardless. Celebrate, but this a different kind of lucha party. We are not alike.
Before we kick this video off, I want to give a huge shout out to Neat Microphones for sending over the King B2. They did provide it for me to be able to do my review. They're not seeing this review before you guys are, so, you know, hey, you get first access to it. They'll be seeing it after. But again, thank you guys over at Neat Microphones for the opportunity, because I have been thoroughly looking forward to covering this microphone. Like I'm always, you know, as someone who's a tech head, I'm always looking for the latest and greatest tech and what is something that could, you know, help me create better. And I've just had so many people tell me, like, Mikhail, you need to try out the Neat Microphones King B, and you need to look out for the King B2. Shout out to my friend Grounded Tech, formerly Guys, for telling me how wonderful the King B line of microphones is, because man, it is. It is truly amazing. So in this video, we're going to be doing the unboxing setup. I'm going to show you guys what it sounds like in a curated room and an uncurated room, as well as do comparisons with this microphone to a couple other microphones, and basically just give you guys a little background on it and then go from there. But before we do all that, make sure you sub to the channel, ding the notification bell. That way you stay up to date on all the latest and greatest content that comes from this channel. And if you want to support the content that we do, make sure you head on over to patreon.com/MikhailCasanova or over on Ko-fi.com/MikhailCasanova for early and exclusive access to content, behind the scenes, and input on content that is coming up in the future. All that being said, let's go ahead and dive into this review of the King B2. So one of the things about the King B2 you guys should definitely come to know is the fact that this is a condenser microphone. And with it being a condenser microphone, well, that means that it needs to utilize phantom power to operate, which is usually a switch on your audio interface, or sometimes it's built into the audio interface. Like right now, I'm utilizing the GoXLR Mini for this setup, although I also have the regular GoXLR as well as the AVerMedia live streamer NEXUS, and all three are capable of outputting that 48 volts of phantom power required to operate this microphone. So if you're trying to use this with, say, an XLR to auxiliary input or a 3.5 millimeter input, just know that that's not going to work at all, because it's not going to power it or send enough juice to this power hungry mic. Now, in comparison to the original King B, this does have the same capsule size, which is a large diaphragm capsule, which is roughly about 34 millimeters, and it does have a cardioid pickup pattern. And when comparing this to the original King B, roughly all of the specs of this microphone are the exact same as it was on that one, with the exception that this has a lower self noise of about 1 decibel, with this being, instead of being 7 decibels, which is what the King B had, this one's 6 decibels. So overall, that might seem like it's not that big of an upgrade, and you might as well get the original. I'm just going to say this right now, that's pretty substantial, even if it's only 1 decibel. That means a lot, especially if you do voiceovers, singing, recording, all that good stuff. That's going to make a bit of a difference. Now, what I do love about this is the shock mount that it comes with. This is called the Beekeeper, and I love the bee theme. It's kind of crazy. I was talking to my wife, Leila Superfina. We were talking about how, you know, it would be kind of crazy if Neat Microphones did something with, like, you know, a bee organization, because like the whole bee, you know, the whole thing is just it's cute, you know. But anyway, so this is the Beekeeper shock mount that comes with it. It's specialized for this particular microphone, and it is perfect. I don't have to worry about, hitting like here and then it's going to reverberate into the microphone, or hitting my desk and it reverberates. Like this does really well at rejecting any type of reverberations and additional sounds that can come straight through the boom arm. Now, given how heavy this thing is, this is not a light thing. It weighs in, I believe they say the capsule itself is about 4 pounds, but overall with the shock mount, you're looking at this being about 5 to 6 pounds, give or take. It's a chunky boy. This is a pretty much a whole metal build, with I believe the only thing that is plastic is probably the pop filter casing that's on the internals. But outside of that, it's a chunky boy. Like this is a straight up weapon if you wanted it to be one. Don't go hurt nobody with this. Just please don't hurt nobody with it. But anyways, it is a chunky boy. And I thought this microphone, which is the one I've been using for 3.5 years, the Rode Procaster, I thought that with the shock mount that it comes with was chunky. No, this has nothing on that. It's crazy how much heavier this thing is. The other cool thing, if we were to talk about the way it sounds, so right now you're listening to me talk with this being in a curated room. I got my panels up, which you might hear a little hissing in the background, which typically is going to be because of the sound coming from my laptop that I have at this station, and also my Xbox refrigerator, because that thing just is loud in general. But you might hear a little bit of it, but not too much. Is mainly going to be focusing on my voice. Now, I'm going to also let you hear this when it's in an uncurated room, which, hey, let's not waste any time. Let me just go ahead and play it for you right now. So aside from the fact I've cleaned up my room, this is what it sounds like when I remove all the curation for the room. So you're just going to be hearing this as it is. So everything is running from the fans on my laptop to, well, my Xbox refrigerator, because that thing is loud. You're going to hear everything. All the noises are going to pick up. They may sound a little faint, or they may be coming through depending on what you're using to play this back on. This is what it's going to sound like when it's not curated. Okay, so the next thing we should try out and see is how good is this microphone at rejecting plosives, or minimalizing the harshness of plosives, because typically you want a pop filter and this has one built into it. So let's go ahead and do that. Peter picked a pick up pop. It's the best I got. It's all I got, man. Don't judge me. But it's pretty good at rejecting a lot of the harshness of plosives. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do comparison of audio, because you've heard what this sounds like. Now I want you to be able to hear what the other microphones sound like, such as the Rode Procaster, as well as the BumbleBee, which is a USB neat microphone. And also you can hear the XLR microphone that I've been utilizing on my main setup, even though this is going to switch and this is going to go to that setup. I like it in here because I've been doing a lot of recording in here, but you're going to hear what the AVerMedia 33 microphone, which is an XLR microphone, you're going to hear what that sounds like very, very shortly. And this is the AVerMedia Live Streamer Mic 330. This is the XLR microphone I was using for roughly about a year. Nothing at all wrong with this. This is a $100 microphone, and it sounds every bit much like it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just the microphone that I was using in my main setup right here. And honestly, between this and the other mics, I started just using the BumbleBee too, because it's such a better microphone than this. And this is interesting to say because this is, a dynamic microphone. Again, nothing is wrong with it. It's just I prefer the sound of the neat BumbleBee 2 as opposed to the Live Streamer Mic 330. But we're going to do the plosive rejection. That way you guys can know what that sounds like. So, Peter picked a pickle, prancing powerfully, poignantly, powerfully, purposefully, pointedly, and I got nothing else. Anyways, that's what this sounds like. The AVerMedia Live Streamer Mic 330. So this is what it sounds like if I'm utilizing the BumbleBee 2, and this is at my main setup. Now this has, volume control, gain control, and everything that's built onto it, as well as the mute interface, and it can sit on just about any boom arm. This is one of the microphones I've been using for the last almost 2 months, and it's one of my absolute favorite microphones. So if you're wondering what it sounds like for like plosive rejection, then here we go. Peter picked a pipe, picking, peckerishly, popping, prancing, playfully, powerfully, poignantly. Yeah, I got nothing else. That's what the plosives sound like. So yeah, now you know what this sounds like. And this is a comfortable microphone. I literally stopped using my AVerMedia XLR microphone just to use this, because this was my daily driver for all my content. Well, it's changed now that I've got the King Bee 2, but this is what this sounds like, and I want you guys to be able to know. And this is me utilizing the Rode Procaster dynamic microphone. So this is what's been my bread and butter for the last 3.5, almost 4 years. I've been using this mic almost exclusively for a lot of voiceovers and recordings that I've done. So if you're curious about what it is that I use, well, now you know. This is what I use. Now, if you're curious what the King Bee 2 sounds like when you're singing into it, well, check this out. I got something for you.
It's 5 o'clock and I'm around your way. Just got off working, girl, it's been a long day. Been thinking about it, the way you be screaming, shouting so loud where all your neighbors know my name. Enough about me, baby, how you doing, girl? He ain't been treating you right, I'ma rock your world.
So I wanted to let you guys be able to see how I have my King Bee 2 set up to work with the GoXLR, because I'm sure many of you may be using it. If you're streamers, you might be using the GoXLR Mini or the GoXLR. These same settings can be used on them. And as you guys can see with the gate section here, I've got threshold set to negative 54 decibels, attenuations at 14%, attacks at 60 ms, release is at 110 ms. Now when it comes to equalizer, my bass, mid, and treble, my bass is at a 3, with my mids at a -1, treble at a 6. And if we head on over here to, if you really want to get into the nitty gritty of the equalizer, if you're not content with bass, mids, and treble, you want to see what they are individually. My 90 hertz is at 3, 160 hertz is at 3, 480 hertz is at -1, 1.5 kilohertz is at -1, 4.5 kilohertz is at 8, and 7.8 kilohertz is at 6. Now, you can always do fine tuning if you check this box here. But if you want to check out and see what we have for the compressor, if we look at it from a bass, just if you don't want to get into the nitty gritty, for my settings, and this is all reflective of my voice, I have it set to 70. But if we go into the nitty gritty of it, you can see here that my threshold is at a -26 decibels. My ratio is at a 2:1. My attack is at 6 ms. My release is at 55 ms. And makeup gain is set to 10 decibels. So here I am in the mic setup. I've got it set to 30 decibels. That way you guys can see how I have it set up for my voice and everything that I'm doing with it. So this is, if you're using it with the GoXLR or GoXLR Mini, if you want an idea of like where's some quick settings I can use, hey, well, you got it right here. Just jot down everything I've got. But this is what I use to work for my voice. Okay, so now we're utilizing the King Bee 2 with the AVerMedia live streamer NEXUS, which is an audio interface and basically an all-in-one streaming tool that combines kind of the Stream Deck with the GoXLR all in one package. So what we're doing now is I want to test it. This also is giving out the plus 48 volts for the phantom power to power this microphone. And I also wanted to showcase the settings that I have for this mic. So if we switch on over here, what I want to do first, so you can see here on my left side, or my right rather, if you're looking at it from the video perspective, you can see where I've got the majority of my settings for this microphone. I've got my mic volume all the way up. My gain is down to 20 decibels, and that's important because you don't want to overshoot that. You don't want it coming out too loud. My threshold as a whole is set to negative 67 decibels. My compressor threshold is at negative 30 decibels with my, if we were to go up, so my equalizer settings for the treble, mid, and bass. So treble is at 65%, mid is at 55%, bass is at 77%, and I have echo and reverb completely turned off, and they're not in any way being affected or utilized right now. So one other thing I want to turn on is I want to dive deeper into the settings. Here, we're going to expand this so you can see it a little bit more clearly. Now we're looking at the microphone effects. So if I were to go to my noise gate, these are the settings that I'm utilizing with the live streamer NEXUS for the King Bee 2. So my threshold is at negative 67 decibels. My attack time is at 3 ms. Hold time is at 37 ms. Release time is at 110 ms. Now, if I go over to my compressor, my settings for that, the threshold is at negative 30, ratio is at 23%, attack time is at 46 ms, release time is at 22 ms, and output gain is at 0. Equalizer, these are the settings I'm using. I'm utilizing bright and bassy, although I could change it to mids boost or ultra bass boost or presence or custom. I typically like bright and bassy, but we'll just use presence for right now. You can hear as I'm selecting different things how it alternates, but these are the settings that I'm utilizing for that. For my bass, for the equalizer settings, if I have it on presence, it's going to be 50 hertz is going to be at 5 decibel, 100 hertz is going to be at 5 decibels, and 250 hertz is going to be at 4 decibels. And for my mids, I've got 500 hertz at 0, 1000 at 0, and 4000 at 2 decibels. Treble is at 8000 hertz, 5 decibels, and 16,000 hertz at 3 decibels. Now, echo and reverb, I keep off because I don't need to utilize these functionalities. I mean, I could turn them on if I wanted to, and you can hear the difference, although they're not needed. Or if I want to turn on reverb and activate any of the different settings, so small space, or medium space, or large space, I can just turn it off because I don't ever use it and I don't really need to. But those are the settings that I utilize when it comes to using this microphone with the live streamer NEXUS. That way you guys will know if you have a live streamer NEXUS, you'll have like an idea of like what to, probably if your voice is similar, like a deep bassy voice like mine, you'll know what to like configure it to so that you can get that clear, crisp sound. Hi. Future Mikhail here. I wanted to interrupt this review of the King Bee 2 and have a little section carved out because I think it's important for you guys to be able to hear, not just from me and my thoughts and the usages I have for the King Bee 2, the BumbleBee 2, and the Skyline microphone. As you know, I've reviewed all of them, but I also think it's important for you to hear from the heads of the company. And I'm talking about none other than Skipper Wise, who is the founder and president of Neat Microphones, as well as David Angress, who is the head of Neat Microphones and the vice president. You're going to be hearing an excerpt from the podcast that I did with both of them. And if you're curious about what that podcast is like, the link for that will be in the description below. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hear from those two gentlemen.
everything about us at Neat, and what we first started in the microphone industry, was how can we create a better image? How can we help people capture sound and get what's unlocked in their head onto some type of a recording that they could share with others? So our idea is be able to help people sound better, communicate better, so that their message is better. Whether you're doing a podcast, whether you're doing gaming and you're communicating with somebody through a gaming thing, whether you're doing some type of Skype call and you're talking with your family, if you're doing music and you want to capture your voice, your guitar playing, all that stuff is part of capturing sound and getting that emotional message out in the best way possible. I always call this an insurance policy when we create products, because you want to concentrate on your art. You want to concentrate on your message. You don't want to worry about how it's being delivered. That's our responsibility, and we take great pride in that.
We have a lot of independent content creators and independent podcasters who are setting up their own studios. You don't have to spend hundreds of thousands, or going back far enough, even millions of dollars, to build a studio to be able to accomplish those goals anymore. I've got the advantage of what's happened in the computer industry, these incredibly powerful computers that you can buy for $1,000 or $2,000. We load the software on top and you have a recording studio, and with a few peripherals, you're ready to go. But budgets for microphones for most of the people who are involved in that category of recording aren't $500, $1,000, or $3,000. And of course, there are many fine microphones out there in those kinds of price ranges. And there have been, over the last few years, some pretty good microphones at lower price points. Our objective was to capture what made those much more expensive microphones sound so good, and figure out how to bring that down into a price band that works for today's customer. And that's what you're talking into fundamentally. A few years ago, it would have been impossible to get that sound for that price.
And with that being said, that's a review for the King B2 from Neat Microphones. Again, shout out to Neat Microphones for providing the review unit, because I have been waiting so long to just be able to cover this. I love this microphone. Like, I typically have been just exclusively using dynamic microphones, and the fact that I have this now, this is my go-to microphone for everything that I'm doing, from voiceovers to live streams to, these YouTube videos that I'm doing here, TikTok videos and the like. Everything's going to be utilizing this microphone, because this right here is the new GOAT. And especially with the price of this compared to like the Rode Procaster and many other microphones, this is a steal. Anyways, what do you guys think? Let me know what you think about this microphone. Are there things you like, you didn't like? Let's sound it off in the comment section down below. And if you want to pick this up, I will have Amazon affiliate links down below. It doesn't cost you anything additional to purchase it using the affiliate link. I will get a little bit of a kickback if you do purchase that or anything else from utilizing the link. And it goes into helping out the channel and keeping it afloat, and, just all the good little knickknacks we need to keep it running. All that being said, if you really enjoyed this video, make sure you like it, share it with someone you think would find this informative, sub to the channel if you haven't already, and if you want to support the channel and the content that we put out, head on over to patreon.com or coffee.com/Mikhail It's /Mikhail Casanova for both. That way you can get early access as well as behind the scenes insight into upcoming content that will be coming out, and input on what we're going to be doing on the channel. And if you want to continue to support, we do have merch over on Teespring and TeePublic. Links for everything is going to be down in the description below. All that being said, I hope you guys have a great aloha rest of your day. And if you didn't have an aloha rest of your day, or an aloha day in general, what are you doing? Go have an aloha day. And all that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Mahalo for your time. If you found this episode to be incredibly enjoyable, informative, or if there's anything you gain from it, or any insight, or anything that's good that you really, really enjoyed, make sure whatever platform you're listening to it on, or if you're watching it, leave a comment if that's available on the platform, like it, share it around with someone you think would enjoy it, and give us some feedback, because your feedback is exactly what we need to keep this show going. And if you're wondering what are some ways that you could support the show, we got various ways. We've got Patreon, we have channel memberships over on YouTube, as well as Subscribestar, Coffee, and so much more. Links for everything will be in the description. Check that out. And with all that being said, I hope you have an aloha rest of your day.
Let them know that I'm next level. I'm a whole new kind of guy. Yeah. Yes, at the top spot in case you forgot. We the ones that got the block hot, bullet got the shot.